Welcome to the Build Series. We're live in New York City. I'm Jcpenney, and we have a 3-time Grammy Award-winning artist joining us, one of the biggest names in country music history, who has a brand new album out, Every Girl, which you can pick up and stream and buy wherever music is available. Please, let's make some noise for Trisha Yearwood.
Thank you.
They've got their phones out. They're clapping. They love you, Trisha.
Thank you very much. It's cool to see that video. I don't sit and watch it every day. I mean,
you don't.
I want to, but that would be weird.
I would start my day every day with that. Coffee and that. No. But I usually say welcome to Build with a lot of guests, but you were just here not too long ago talking about the Frank album, huh?
Yeah, I took about a 12-year hiatus from making records, and so I made 2 in 1 year. Just
Right.
like let's get it done.
Where'd the idea to do Frank come about? I used to live in Hoboken, New Jersey, so I'm
Really?
Yeah. I love Frank.
My mom loved these old movies, and I loved the music, the Great American Songbook, and I wanted to make this record for about 20 years. And I think timing is just everything. It just kind of happened that it worked out, and I had so much fun. The hardest part was finding 12 songs. I had 100. So I got another 88. So there's a few more records coming, I think.
We'll get the box set eventually, right?
Eventually. Because there's just such great material to choose from.
Right. Do you think you could have done a Frank Sinatra tribute album in country music 20, 30 years ago?
Well, I think that, I don't know. I mean, 2 things. One, I don't know that my voice, some of those songs, you really have to have lived some of that stuff. I'm not sure if, in my 20s, I would have been able to emote it that way, but also I think as your career evolves, you're kind of allowed to do what you want. And I've made enough country records that nobody thinks, oh, she's abandoning country music. She's not gonna, she's just gonna do this now. I think everybody that knows me knows that I'm gonna take that liberty, but I'm always gonna end up here.
Yeah. Well, you talk about all you've done, right there, the 3 Grammys that I cited at the top, and you are really one of the biggest names in country music history. What's exciting when an artist like you comes out with the first original album in over 10 years is that you don't have to necessarily do it, right? So that leads me to believe that you had something to say as an artist, and that's why you went back into the studio. What was it that you wanted to convey?
That I'm not done. I think that I've been, since I was 5 years old, I wanted to sing, and it was never about, of course I love that people want my autograph. I've been practicing it for long before anybody wanted it. And I love that I get to do this on this grand scale, but singing was always something that was not a choice for me. It was like who I am, and how do I figure out how to do that? So for me, as long as I can sing, I want to. I can't imagine not doing it. So I just felt like I wasn't really feeding my soul. I was doing live shows. I was on tour with Garth, which was wonderful. I was doing the cooking show, which I love. But this is what I really need to do to be whole. And I hadn't done it in a while. So I will not let 12 years pass again.
You're like that, right? No, is it true? Was it Cher? Was that the first artist that you saw that really sparked that fire within you? I know you joke that she was who you wanted to be as a little girl.
Yeah, everybody wanted to be Cher. The first artist that I heard as a kid around that same time was Elvis. I was really mesmerized by Elvis's voice and just how it just had that magic that drew you in. And then the Sonny and Cher show came on television, and I was 5 or 6 years old. And she's walking out in Bob Mackie gowns, showing her belly button. She's tall, she's amazingly cool, and she's funny. And it was just, I'm like, who is this goddess, And so I would imitate Cher by I'd put a long sleeve t-shirt over my head. You should do this at home. It's really cool. So you put the t-shirt on, and then you take it off where it's like a towel almost, and you have the long arms that you can flick back and forth for the hair. And I impersonated Cher a lot in those days. And my sister had a Twiggy doll who was a model, Twiggy, and she was very flat-chested. So I would take the dark-haired Barbie head off my Barbie and put it on the Twiggy doll, and then she would be Cher and do shows and stuff. So I was pretty in it.
Yeah.
I was there. I'm not sure if I've ever told that story, and I probably shouldn't have told it, but
What an exclusive, right?
Yeah.
A new album, a Cher tutorial. I don't know what's going to happen on Build today. No, it's great. I want to draw attention to 2 major accomplishments because, again, you have such a storied career. And this song, Every Girl in This Town, the lead single, marked your highest debut in your career and also your most added day at radio. So round of applause, because those things are... This far in, I mean, that just must mean the world to you to see the success of a single this far in.
Yeah. I mean, I honestly, and I've said this, and this is the truth. I mean, you can look back and say, oh, we weren't sure what was going to happen. I honestly went into recording this album with no expectation for commercial success. I mean, 54 female, those are two things that aren't like, that doesn't guarantee you any, chart success. So I didn't even think about releasing a single to radio. And as I found songs, I had so much joy in making this record. And then when it was done, I still thought, well, I love it. I mean, I'm happy with it. I'm satisfied with it, but I don't know what's going to happen with it. And then my team, I even told them when I played it for them for the first time, I'm like, we're probably not going to go to radio, but let's find a way to get it out there for people that want to hear it. And when they heard it, they said, oh, we're going to radio and we're going with this song. And so it's so funny when you're not chasing something, how it sometimes shows up. And so the success of this song has been so cool for me because I didn't write the song. I think it's a really powerful song, and I love that it's resonating with people. And now people have a chance to hear the whole album and hear the rest of the story. I searched a long time I was looking for 10 good songs, and I found 14 I couldn't live without. So I love them all.
Do you usually start with a lot of songs in the recording process and then whittle it down? Like we joke about the 80, 100 Frank songs,
Yeah.
but is that your process?
I try not to, because in Nashville, there's this process of holding songs. So if you find a song that you like and you're going to go in the studio in a month to record, the publishing companies will put a courtesy hold on it for you, meaning they're not going to pitch this song to anybody else in the meantime, or you've got your first right of refusal to not, record it if you change your mind. And some artists will notoriously hold hundreds of songs, which means that other artists don't get a chance to hear them. And I never want to be that artist. So I don't take a song unless I'm pretty sure I'm going to record it. And then I don't hold it up for very long. So this was, Every Girl in This Town was one of the first songs we heard. And we recorded it within a month of putting it on hold. And so we would go in and cut about 4 or 5 songs, and we loved them all. So this was a unique record in every aspect, that we didn't over-record. We didn't record extra songs that we didn't use. And we didn't hold a lot of songs. We knew the ones we liked, and we recorded those, and we were done.
That's awesome. I want to focus just in on that second stat I mentioned with your most added day at radio in your career. Country radio, really radio overall, has been a medium that has probably not embraced female artists in terms of airplay.
That's a nice way to say it.
Yes. I'm a polite host, aren't I?
It was really polite. It was good. That's good.
Very diplomatic. No, so walk me through the emotions of seeing a stat like that, given the history of female artists and the difficulty they've had to attain spins in radio.
Well, first of all, I had my team check it, because I'm like, really? How do I live? Or Walkaway Joe, She's in Love with the Boy. You're like, seriously? This is the one, which was pretty amazing. And what I think is cool about it is, I come from an era of country music where there were a ton of women being played on the radio in country. So it's not like country music is just behind everybody and we got to get more women on the radio. We had that going on. Something has changed in the course of the last 10 years. But for me, what's been really cool is to get on that chart and then to be really embraced by the young women who are working so hard at getting number ones at radio, and how such an unlevel playing field. If you're a radio station and you want to add a new male record, it's going to start in afternoon drive time on the radio. If you add my record, the first time they're going to play it's going to be 3:00 in the morning. So they go, well, the guy record's testing better. I'm like, well, maybe you should play the girl record in the daytime. Just to try that out. So it's not really a level playing field.
Not at all.
But to kind of be in that club with these young girls who have an appreciation for what came before, and to really feel like we're all in this together, has been really, really cool for me.
Right. And you think of, talking about some of those younger artists like Marin, just having the couple past years that she's had, really blowing the door open, and Casey now. Is there anybody that has, just spoke to you directly? You talk to everybody, but does anyone come to mind as younger artists that have embraced you?
Yeah, it's been really amazing. I did something with, there was a tribute to Tanya Tucker's new record coming out that Brandi Carlile produced, which is a great record. And Brandi showed me a video of her singing She's in Love with the Boy on stage in a cowboy hat when she was like 8. And I'm like, okay, I normally would be like, I don't want to be that old, but I'm like, that's kind of cool, that I'm kind of that girl. And I shared a dressing room with Lauren Elena and Ray Lynn and Kelsey Ballerini, and just to feel the warmth from them and the appreciation, and realizing they were little girls when She's in Love with the Boy came out, and that's a cool thing. Right. It's been really great.
Absolutely. Can we bring back the music video really quick in the monitor here, because I want to talk about this and the story behind it, because who are these people, the stars of this music video?
Most of them are friends and family. One of our daughters is in there, my sister, my niece, some of my best buddies and their kids. Just from all walks of life. Like you probably recognize some of these girls. Vicky in the purple shirt, she sings backups on the road with us. So it was really important to just show every, if this song is going to be called Every Girl, I want to show every kind of girl I can, and so, moms and daughters and wives and girlfriends and everything.
Yeah. This, it's kind of like a photo shoot vibe, and I understand that for the photo shoot of the album, you were blasting Lizzo.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah, big Lizzo fan.
Lizzo should have been in this video. She's just not available that day. I'm sure she would have loved to.
Yeah. What do you love about Lizzo though? Because she's like having a heck of a year.
Lizzo is, it's a movement. It's not just about the music. And I discovered her right around the time everybody else did. I was filming the cooking show, and in the mornings when I'm in the makeup chair for about an hour and a half, I'm listening to music to get pumped up, because I'm not a morning person, so there's a lot of coffee happening. And usually it's like Bruno Mars or Beyonce. And so this past, like in May, when we were shooting the couple seasons ago, I was listening to, I think, the Bruno Mars channel, and I heard Juice. And I was like, man, I'm a huge Prince fan. I'm like, I hear like 80s, I hear and she's amazing, and who is this woman? So that was the beginning, and it just so happened she was playing in Nashville at a little club that week, and I went. And I mean, I'm in this packed little club with 200 people, and it's crazy in this place, and I only know a couple of songs. I know them all now. I can't wait to see her again. I'm ready, but I took my sister and a couple of my friends that were in the video, and we were like, it was like going to a church revival. This woman not only was fun and playful and could sing her behind off, but she also was empowering and just really like, love yourself, accept yourself the way you are, and in a way that we need to hear. So I just think she's everything that is happening for her is well deserved. I think she's been at this for a long time, and I think her message to girls is really powerful.
Yeah, really important. We were at the VMAs a couple weeks ago, and she just had one of the best performances really in recent memory, and gave a big speech to that point that you're just saying. So it's cool.
Yeah, I'm working on getting that giant inflatable ass for my tour.
I was gonna say. You stole the joke, Trisha.
Oh, sorry.
That'd be great. No,
I really did. I sent it to my agent. I'm like, can we get that? Can we get that? Can I just put that up on we're doing a small theater tour, it'll be like, I just think it'd be kind of cool vibe. I don't know.
Well, it would have been great to have in the hometown gig you just did.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
My hometown would have really loved that.
Yeah.
I'd be like, what is happening, young Trisha? We don't understand. Yeah, exactly.
I want to talk about this little mini tour you did, because it's so cool. A lot of people do the return to your roots, and you do a small town gig or something like that. But you did the trek was actually the route you took when you first left your hometown, however many years ago, and went to Nashville.
Yeah. Yeah, so we were trying to figure out something special to do for release, and I left home at 19 and to go to Nashville to really pursue this, finish college and pursue music. And I made that drive back home a lot, back and forth up and down the interstate. And so we decided to start in my hometown of Monticello, Georgia. If you've seen the movie My Cousin Vinny, that was shot in my hometown. So the town square and the courthouse, all that is Monticello. It's a very quaint town of 2,500 people in the town proper. I know them all. And so we started on the town square and had a record release party, and then took the bus and stopped along the way and in some places and signed some vinyl and some CDs all the way up to Nashville. We ended at the Country Music Hall of Fame.
Or your old stomping grounds.
Yeah, I was a tour guide.
A tour guide.
Yeah. Yeah, minimum wage. It was good.
Are you a reflective, nostalgic person? Like on that trip, are you thinking about when you would make it for the first time? And
oh yeah, and my hometown is really unique. They were the kind of hometown that I've been back several times for different events. They paint "Welcome Home Trisha" in every storefront window. Our big fast food place is the Dairy Queen, and there's always a "Welcome Home Trisha" on the Dairy Queen sign.
Amazing.
It's really a family, and my parents are gone, but that town is my family, and they really did raise me. So to go home and to see high school friends and school teachers that I had and friends that I've known my whole life, to come out and support is amazing. I mean, I don't take that lightly. And so, yeah, it was really amazing to think that first album was 28 years ago, and this is a town that has embraced me then and embraces me now.
I always find those return to origins, right? Those trips back home. It centers yourself, right? It grounds yourself. Sometimes you learn things about yourself. Did you go through anything like that last week?
It's kind of a reset for me. You know, our world is crazy, and it's really sometimes we just think that there's nothing good that's going on, and then you go home and you realize that most of this country, we're really good. We just don't see that reflected all the time in what we see on television. So it was really good for me to go home and have a reset. And I took some folks with me that on my team that had never been, and I couldn't really describe it to them. I'm like, it's kind of like Mayberry, but it's not like Mayberry on steroids, and you have to see it to believe it. And they were just like, this is the most amazing experience. You know, they met some great people. You know, you get there late. The streets roll up at 9:30, and the one of our guys got there early, and it was 9:30 at night, and he was hungry, and he went to this Mexican place that's there, and they had just shut the door. They'd cleaned the grill, and they saw him, and they opened up, and they made him a meal, and you know, it's like that kind of stuff that just doesn't happen everywhere.
Yeah, that's just amazing. You know, the life that you and Garth, of course, lead, it just can get so crazy, and it's so massive now in terms of just like the scale you're at in your career. But how do you just continually stay so grounded? Because it has to be. Is it like a muscle you have to work almost? Is it something you have to stay committed to not lose sight of what's important?
We were both raised with parents who are always in our head. Like, you know, in my head, it's like, I will, you know, it's almost like when you're in the grocery store and you act up, you know, it's like, I will jerk a knot in your tail right now in front of everybody in the grocery store line if you don't behave. That's in my head like every day that I do stuff. So I think that the thing about, if there's anything good about me and feeling grounded, it's the way that I was raised. I always say I don't always do the right thing, but I know what the right thing is because of that. And that is with you. I think no matter what we do in our lives, that if you're grounded in your family when you're young, I think it stays with you. And Garth and I are lucky that we were raised in the same way. So we would never allow the other one to get out of line, you know. So it's just and we also protect our time, you know, together. We're very busy, and we're very grateful, and we do a lot of crazy, wonderful things, but we are very guarded about our time and make sure that we are, you know, together and that we know what's important.
Right. I was curious, like, 'cause Garth's on this record, right?
He is.
You guys collaborated on the Farmville ad is blocking the name of the track.
It's called What Gave Me Away.
Oh, it's not actually. It's number 6. You know, it's funny, like, working together, how does that affect, you know, your personal relationship while you're working together? Do you ever get on each other's nerves? Do you see it? Is it a positive effect? Does it bring you closer together?
Well, it just depends. I mean, okay, so people assume that because we live in the same house that he just has to sing on my record, but I don't want to abuse the relationship and just make him do it, even though I guess I could. So I don't set out to say I want you to sing on the record, but when that song is about the person that has your number, and it's like he's got my number, so he's the guy that I want to sing that with. We are very competitive, and we're very we're very much run our own ships, and it's great to run your own ship and be very independent. But when two people who want to be captain of the ship live in the same house, somebody's got to give, you know. And so I would say that role shifts. Sometimes he gets to steer, and sometimes I get to steer, and that's what that balance is about. In the studio, he pushes. You know, he's fun in the studio, and I recently told this story. I don't know if he's heard that I told the story yet, but I told the story of singing on Shameless, which has this big wailing harmony at the end, and he wanted me to do this lick, and I was like, okay, cool. And I'm a pretty confident singer, you know, so I go in there and I lay this thing down, and I'm like, that was good, like that was good. And he's like, yeah, can you do that again? It just felt like it just felt easy. Like I just want it to feel like it's really like, give me everything you got. So I'm like, okay, all right. It was perfect, but okay. And so I do it again. I do this lick, and now I'm like, man, that was really good. And he's like, can you I just need it to be like more. I need more. And at this point, I'm getting a little ticked off. And I'm like, all right, okay. And I get short. My words get really quick when I'm angry. And I'm like, yeah, okay, all right, do it again. Just roll it. Let's do it. A couple more times of that, and I was really mad. And so I'm like, okay, roll the tape. Like, I'm ready, roll it. And I just was like, nah! I was just screamed it. And he's like, there it is. So when you listen to Shameless next time, just note that really cool wailing harmony at the end. I wanted to strangle him in the control room. So, but he did get like a great performance out of me.
Because he probably knows you better than anybody, right?
He does. He knows the buttons to push.
Right?
Ooh, yeah.
That's awesome. I want to congratulate you really quick on the show coming back, September 28th, the cooking show. Is this 15 seasons or 15 years?
15 seasons. We shoot 2 a year, so about 7.5 years. Which is still like, I can't believe it.
That's amazing. So
pretty cool.
what are you looking forward to this season on the show?
We just had fun. You know, we're at that point where we've pretty much made everything out of my books. We've done every grandmother's this, my mom's this, my dad's that. So now we're just making stuff up, and it's really fun. We did an episode this season of like doing a county fair in your backyard, and we did a funnel cake ice cream sandwich. That didn't have any calories. And just some fun stuff. We did a drink that had cotton candy in it, that kind of stuff. So it's always fun now to kind of sit and dream up, like, what if we combine cheesecake and chocolate chip cookies? How would that look? How would we do that? Like, I wake up thinking of how to figure this stuff out, and it's a different kind of challenge, and it's fun.
I was reading just your bio before you came on today, and it's like, of course, it's, singer, songwriter, actress, entrepreneur, TV host. Was that always the vision for you? You talk about going back 28 years to the first record, or was that something that organically maybe blossomed from the success you had in music? Or as a young woman, did you want to be this, diverse personality?
No, I remember seeing people like Barbara Mandrell and Dolly Parton who seemed to be doing all these things, and I just thought, how does somebody do all that? Like, I didn't even think I want to do all that. I just would look at them and go, that is so cool that they do all these things. I just wanted to be Cher. I just wanted to sing. And I think I've never been a person, other than knowing I wanted to sing, I never had like a 5-year plan or a 10-year plan. I've always just tried to be open to the opportunities that came. So really the cooking show, which led to other things, they were all things that came out of just opportunity that came up because of the success in music. And if it felt right, then I've said yes. And that's kind of what's guided me so far.
Yeah. You're doing so many things. I want to touch on two before we turn it over to the fans. If we get a shot of that, I don't know if we have a glare or not, but Farmville 2, you guest star in this.
I do.
How did this come about?
I do. And right now my cows they're suffering. My farm has not been tended in the last couple of days. I just want to say, I am a person who, will go down the rabbit hole on an app and play a game and then have to like get it off my phone. I am that person. And, I grew up on a farm, and so I thought, this could be fun. And then I became obsessed. And I also give human qualities to inanimate objects. So like if I go to the grocery store and there's a stuffed animal and then there's only one left, I'll just buy it because I'm like, it can't be alone on the shelf. We're learning a lot about things about me that you probably should know. So this Farmville app, like right now I know it's sitting on my phone, and the cows, when they need to be milked, they're just kind of jumping up and down and you're like, I just know, I grew up on a farm, I know when a cows, they need to be milked. It's like a thing, and so I'm like, my cows are suffering. My brother-in-law is a dairy scientist, and I was telling him about this, and I'm like, I've got these cows, and I've got chickens, and I've got pigs, and then I've got these crops, and like, and then I have to make stuff, and he's looking at me like I'm absolutely crazy. But now I'm in the game, and I actually, I'm playing with me in the game. Right now, Trisha is foraging on my game for something. She's looking for like wild onions or something. I've got her working.
Yeah, you got a heck of a backing band too, it looks like. And then you're doing something really important with Jcpenney for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Can you tell me about this?
Yeah, I lost my mom to breast cancer. Jcpenney, we've done this with them before. They really pull out all the stops for Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and we've done a couple of luncheons, and it just some of the proceeds from the sale of this album are going to go to the American Cancer Society for breast cancer research. It's just something that any place I can find a way to be involved in that, I am, and Jcpenney's really been great about really getting into that. So I'm honored to be a part of that.
That's awesome. Very cool. Let's turn it over to some fan questions right now. The first is going to come from right over here.
Hello.
Hello. I like your shirt.
Oh, thank you. 615 Project. Lately in country music, there's been a lot of supergroups being formed, like the Highwomen and Pistol Annies. Would you be open to that? And if so, who would you want to ask you to be in their supergroup? Contemporary and maybe your contemporaries.
Well, we've been loosely talking for several years now with Reba and Kelly about doing something, because the trio album is really kind of the benchmark, right. And we've all sung together on each other's records, and so we keep talking about that we need to do that one of these days. When we sang together on Kelly's Christmas album and then on Reba's gospel album, it's like going in with these unicorns. You know, they're just amazing. And they go in and they sing it once and it's on pitch and it's perfect. And then we all get our part in 20 minutes and we go to lunch. You know, it's like, this is really cool. So that would probably be my, first choice. But I would also mow Reba's lawn if she needed me to. So.
Who wouldn't?
Either or. Let's get to the second fan question right up front.
Hi.
Hey.
I have a question on orchestrations. In your music, one of the things I love about your music is not only your voice or everything, but like I'm listening to Matador, and there'll be that mariachi thing that comes in, or the Hearts and Armor solo violin, and the whole beginning of Bust a St. Cloud, which we can't get into because I'll become a puddle. Who decides that? Is it collaborative? Because in musical theater, there's an orchestrator, and we have no say in it.
Right.
How does that work? How does that happen?
It's different. Like the ones that you mentioned, normally what we do is we cut with the band first. So there's the 5-piece band, and they're all artists. So you allow them to do what they do, and something will happen that you didn't expect that will draw you in. And then when we orchestrate something, we will sometimes give direction and sometimes not. Everyone who works on my records knows that I love cello, so it usually ends up somewhere on my records. I love a cello. The interesting thing on Matador, which was written by Gretchen Peters, who wrote Bust a St. Cloud, is that Gretchen's version had a squeeze box, had accordion on it in that mariachi part. And Garth Fundis and I, my producer, were like, let's do mariachi. And this is a really funny story. So I, in my head, had envisioned how I wanted it to sound, and we put this very traditional sound, mariachi sound, on the record. And then we did a rough mix. And when they sent me the rough mix, the mariachis were really loud. It was really loud. And I'm like, it's just, I want it more like in the distance. It needs to sound like it's in the distance. And every time I would get a remix of the rough, they were just so loud. And I love these guys I work with, and they know me well, but I finally had to go in and go, okay, right now, what I want is that we're at a bullfight. We're in Mexico somewhere, and maybe 2 streets over, there's a mariachi band, and you can smell the dust from the street, and you're just hearing it in the distance. Right now, we're at a Mexican restaurant, and they're playing Happy Birthday at the table, and they were like, "Oh, we get it." So they moved it to where they thought. So it ended up in the perfect place, and that's sometimes where, and it might be my vision, which in that case was, but sometimes it's Garth Fundis, the producer, who's almost produced all my records. It's a real collaboration, and everyone is encouraged to be an artist because that's what they are.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. That's
Great question. We have time for one final one. It'll come from right up front as well.
Hey.
Hi. We saw you do your Let's Be Frank concert at the Rainbow Room this year, and it was incredible.
Thank you.
And you sang the album straight through, which was thrilling to hear. Would you ever consider doing that with this album?
I would. We have talked about doing a couple of those. You know how Prince used to play a concert and then go to a club and play like the kind of little after show thing. We've talked about doing that and maybe just doing the album from top to bottom somewhere. Normally when we're getting ready to tour, I tell the band, just learn the single. People want to hear the songs they know, and we'll do the single, and then don't worry about the rest of the record. But on this album, I told the band to learn every song. And I'm gonna play the hits and I'm gonna play the single, but I want to have all these songs in my back pocket so that if I want to bring out Matador one night, I can, or any of these songs they can come out. So we're prepared to do all of them. And we're talking about doing a show like that where we would just do the album from top to bottom.
Town Hall here in New York would be a great place to do it.
Actually, yeah.
Good suggestion.
Very cool. All right, well, I have great news for both fans in attendance and also you watching at home. For those here, Trisha was nice enough to bring along a copy for everyone of the new album. Everyone's walking out of here with a copy. Right on. And then also you at home, if we just didn't talk to Trisha enough, you need even more Trisha in your life, you're going live at 4 p.m. today on talkshop.live.
I am. Talk Shop Live.
Not very nice. Guys, one more time. Trisha Yearwood.
Thank you guys so much.